individual positions or position groups. There was no effect. Now, thoughts of playing time. This is one of the times, maybe the one time, whenever I was like, hey, thank you, Mr. Reviewer. I actually appreciate you. On A, we see this was the slide that we just looked at previously with the 3 different points in time. High academic stress, high physical stress, and the low academic stress. And that the high training camp had most injuries, the high academic stress the second, and then there were virtually none at the other times. But now we look at B. And B were the subjects that played. So there was 46 here that saw significant playing time. That was, I believe it was something like an average of 20 snaps a game or something like that. And we also noticed that some people will see, hey, A is everybody, B is 46, and those are played. C is 51, and those who didn't, that's 97. Well, those other 4 were punters and kickers. And one, with the qualification of 20 plays, they could not be said to have played because their position does not see 20 snaps in a game. But we can't say that they didn't play because they were starting in their position. So we excluded them from this analysis due to those factors. Now with B, we look down here and we see HPS is high physical stress, HAS is high academic stress, LAS is low academic stress. There was no significant difference between high physical and high academic stress. So training camp to low academic stress was 2.84. So they were 2.84 times as likely to get hurt during training camp as they were a normal week. We look over here, significance, it's definitely there. Okay. Now, the high academic to low academic stress, we see is 3.19. And again, it's definitely significant. We see that training camp is actually, the test week is actually got a greater likelihood of injury than training camp. Think about that for a second. Now, with the odds ratio, I want to stop and make sure that everybody understands something. So if we are 3 times as likely to have an injury that week, that doesn't mean that somebody's absolutely getting injured. That just means that they've got a greater likelihood. So let's say if I had a 3% chance of rolling my ankle, well, now I've got a 9% chance. Okay? So it's still not saying that it's definitely going to happen. You're just at a greater likelihood. B, it did make my chin drop the first time I saw that. That holy cow, that high academic stress had a greater impact on injury than training camp. A pen had more weight towards illness and injury than a 300-pound man coming as fast as he could and barreling down on you, trying to hit you as hard as he could. Again, look at that. 3.19 for the test week. 2.84 for the camp week. You know, there was the playwright, the great British playwright, Edward Bulwer Lytton, in his historical play of Cardinal Richelieu, where he said the pen is mightier than the sword. This is kind of showing that the pen is mightier than a 300-pound dude hitting you. Now, why? Well, we know from Petrie et al. That being a starter is a stressor in and of itself. You have a stress to perform. Those stresses can be internal, that you're wanting to do well because you're wanting to do well. The stressors could be external, coming from coaches, from your teammates, from the media, from the friends, from social media. Oh my God, social media. We'll get to that here in a minute. Social media is the last frontier, I think, for stress right now. It's something that isn't extremely well studied, but we're starting to get there. There's open access to anyone, any time of the day. Back in the day, whenever I was growing up and playing sports, You only got interviewed at certain times, and somebody would have to actually see you, just tell you that they thought you did horrible or made a mistake or something like that. And most of the time, whenever somebody could see you, they weren't going to say anything like that. There's no intestinal fortitude required to say anything. You can just hop online and type a message and be a keyboard warrior. I often say that everybody on Twitter is 6'7" and 350 pounds of solid muscle with the way that they are acting as they are brandishing out criticism. There's no repercussions for most people about what they say. Now, there are sometimes when people on social media will lash back at them, but there isn't anything that's really going to stop them. Now, before social media, if you were going to talk smack, there is a good chance that you are going to end up in a fist fight. Now, anybody can do whatever they want. We look at this was a famous meme that came out after Nick Folk missed a few field goals. And let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. For some examples of what stress is for certain people.
We have something special for you tonight. As Twitter users know, tweeting is a great way for famous people to connect with their fans, but it's also a great way for fans to say terrible things to those people without getting punched in the face. When you send an insulting tweet to a celebrity, a lot of the time they read them, and it can hurt. So to help put a face on this unsavory activity, we asked some famous people to read some of the harshest things that have been tweeted about them. And this is our 4th edition now of Mean Tweets.
I just saw Jessica Alba. If this was 2007, I'd be really excited.
Kate Mara is on a list of people who I don't understand why anyone likes.
Hey, Zach Braff. I could take a picture of a piece of in my toilet, and it would be a better movie than Garden State.
I've never seen The Fuss with Russell Brand. He's a hairy, non-funny Brad Paisley and his country singing face.
Kelly Ripa is kind of amazing when you think about how hard it must be to balance that huge head on a tiny body.
Whenever someone tells me that I look like Andy Samberg, they're basically saying, guess how big your nose is? Very big.
Dear No Doubt, the only thing in doubt is whether your music makes me want to puke or kill myself and then puke. Sincerely, everyone.
I can't figure out if Elizabeth Moss is attractive or not. Does this help you figure it out?
I already know when I get pregnant, I'm going to pull a Jessica Simpson and gain 598 pounds.
Kid Rock looks like he would smell like stale farts and cigarettes. More like fresh farts and cigars.
Bitch, how you look anorexic and fat all at once. Hashtag weird.
It's a good thing Ray Romano is funny because his face looks like a dump I took today.
That's cool.
You know, I'm not on Twitter, so I can't respond to Golf Guy 127. Here's what you should do. Go to my website and join. Go to the bottom of the page, just keep hitting agree, 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 and when you get to you, hit accept.
Golf Guy 127.